Employee shortages everywhere, and it's starting to show. Let's get to it. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Coffee Rant with Danno. Today we are drinking Dunkin' coffee. Dunkin', one of my favorites here. Took a break from it for a while. Now I am back to it, and it is great coffee. If you had to hit pause on this video to get your coffee together, have coffee with us, or whatever beverage you deem necessary for this discussion, it's not going to be too long. Just going to talk a little bit on some of the employee shortages that we've been hearing about on the channel, different subscriber reports, different reports from you guys that have been sending me emails and talking about major employee shortages. Now, this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but excuse me. Usually, I'll wait until after I do a little bit of research on things. Now, we have seen here in Cincinnati Meijer and Kroger, who have put up like basically billboards on their stores. Today I was at Kroger Marketplace, which that video comes out tomorrow morning, so make sure you check that out. Found some more sales, some more deals, some more price increases, is what it is. But I'm not kidding. You could see these now hiring signs from a helicopter or a plane. I mean, the one at Kroger Marketplace is ridiculously huge. It gets your attention. Got my attention. Meijer, we talked about this, but if you're new to the channel, you may miss some of this stuff. So I like to, reiterate some of the things that we discussed earlier in the week. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe down below. We do these videos every day to try and help keep you in the know and save you as much money as possible in the grocery stores. But anyway, Meijer has put out now hiring banners everywhere. I mean, they are hanging out over in the street in their parking lot. Big, huge, banners that say now hiring. Now it's becoming an issue. When you see the little Dollar General sticker thing with the little pull tabs that say now hiring, are they though? I've seen all those pulled, and I see the same poor person, one person working behind the desk with no help at all, with boxes everywhere they can't put away. Now Dollar General has a now hiring sign out there that is as big as this room. I mean, it is ridiculously huge. Now we're dealing with issues. Whether we're dealing with them around where you are or just here in Cincinnati, we are dealing with them. Some major ones have been hospital workers. It's one thing to talk about groceries and all this other stuff. One that I find, disturbing is nurses and stuff walking out, quitting their jobs. We've been getting a lot of comments on that lately. Now, I'll tell you what, over the last few years, nurses, doctors, they've seen a lot of stuff, which they do anyway, on an everyday basis. They see a lot. They have to put up with a lot. They have to put up with mourning families, diseases, just other tons of things. All the problems that are thrown at us in life, nurses and doctors have to deal with that. I am not surprised at all when I hear of nurses walking out or quitting their job. I couldn't do it. It takes a special kind of person to do something like that. It really does. I couldn't do it. It would be just too emotionally catastrophic for someone like me. But there are special people out here. And I'm not saying the ones that have left their jobs aren't still special people. Maybe they've moved on. There's been a lot of numbers of different nurses that have quit their jobs in record numbers over the last couple years. Now, you see what we dealt with the pandemic, what we're still dealing with today. The more and more our population grows, the more and more hospitals are going to have to deal with a lot of different problems. Now, some people have iron stomachs and can handle these things. And some probably realize that this isn't what they wanted. Now, when we calculate numbers like this, I feel like most people calculate the numbers of departure and not the numbers of arrival, right? How many jobs are gained versus how many people walk out. I feel like more people want to know how many people aren't working there than how many people are. That's another problem. Because the people who are working at these places are getting overworked. That's another reason why a lot of people are leaving. And really, I'm just, feel free to leave down in the comments your thoughts on all of this. I am just relaying some of the things that I have read. This is mostly an opinionated discussion, other than some of the numbers that I got off of some different articles. There was one that was saying that 323,000 people have walked out on their jobs since the beginning of 2023. I mean, really, you could say 10,000, you could say 323,000. That's still a large number. And where did they go? Like, they walked out of their job. Well, maybe they found a new job. You start seeing things like these banners on these grocery stores. Yeah, they're hurting for employees. They spent a lot of money on that. Meijer spent a lot of money on that advertising. They're probably hoping if they get 10 employees, it was well worth it. Good employees. People that aren't going to come in and then leave. I know a lot of people at Kroger, and despite that I don't see a lot of them on the floor, there are things that go like on in the warehouses and behind the store. And from what I've heard from some of my friends who work at different Krogers, they say they come and then they're gone. And they said they're used to that. The problem is that now they're not even calling. They're not making phone calls. They're not answering their phone. It's like, well, if you were supposed to be there to help somebody get stuff off the truck, and then this other guy finally gets a day off after being overworked probably for a month. I know a guy who works at Kroger's. He gets 1 day off a week. He's way overworked. Way overworked. Now, he says he likes the overtime and everything, which is good. I mean, I get it. But, you start to get burned out. You start to get burned out. And when you get burned out enough, and I can only imagine working in a grocery store. You're dealing with angry customers all day long. Some nice ones. Some angry ones. And I see it every day. I see angry people every day. I've learned to just kind of wash it off my back here, but it's unbelievable what people have to deal with. So, to answer some questions that I've been getting lately is some people have been saying, why do I think there's so many employee shortages? What is going on with some of these stores? Some people have sent emails of some of your talking about, like, Walmart seems to be a big one. Now, it's not as bad around here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I see plenty of employees at our Walmart, but we have a smaller Walmart. But that's been the biggest one. We've gotten a couple comments on how it's taken a long time to get your shopping, where they shop for you and then you pull up in your car and they click list is what Kroger calls it. I forget what Walmart calls it. Just drive up groceries, basically. So I've been hearing some issues with that lately. Employee shortages with those kind of things. Someone had mentioned Target, how it took you like an hour to get your stuff. Now, see, and I understand. Some people do that because they have to. Some people, do it just for the convenience. For whatever reason, it should not take an hour to get your stuff. I would deal with that one time, and that would be it. I'd probably be sitting for like 15, 20 minutes. Which, if they told you it was going to be a while, well, that's different, I guess. I would have just maybe got a bite to eat or something and came back. But we've had a few comments on this, and this is just, just talking about different things that we're seeing that we haven't seen even during the pandemic. I don't want to say so work ethics, okay? I don't know if that's changed too. I think we're starting to get better at that again. I see good hard workers everywhere I go. Very nice, hard-working people in all the stores. Now, some of them are the ones that have been there for years and years and years, so that's part of it. They wouldn't be able to last at their job if they hadn't been there or hadn't had the seniority that they do as they do today. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on too much about that. We're just going on about some of the things that we have seen. A lot of different things. Obviously, we're going to have all different kinds of comments on here. I know it already. People don't want to work. They don't want to do this. Yeah, there is that, but there's always been that. The pandemic might have made it a little worse, right? Because I think we have a lot of people who it's changed their lives. And we had to think of other things too. It changed our lives in other ways too. As to where I think online shopping, which we were talking about yesterday, I'll leave a link in the description box below here. So if you missed our coffee rant yesterday, you can check that out. Where we're talking about like people who can't, you get so used to online shopping, right? Like before it was a lot of people who just either you're busy all the time, you don't have time to go to the grocery store. It's convenience, right? It's convenient. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when the pandemic hit and all that stuff, I feel like everybody was ordering online. Everybody was doing this. And it was making it to the point to where you didn't have to leave your house for anything. Now, I mean, that is pretty awesome, you know. And great for people who are handicapped, who are immobile, who can't go to the stores. We got a lot of comments from people who can't even go to the stores. And thank goodness for online services for these kind of things, you know, so that we're able to get products to your home and you not have to leave or travel or take public transportation and it just comes to your door. I mean, that's awesome. It really is. I think some people might have misunderstood some of what I was talking about, but it really is awesome for those purposes. And the thing is I think more and more people have done that. And stores, right? Stores weren't getting the in-store purchases, right? There wasn't as many people going into the stores. People got used to that. And then here we have this, you know, thing to where people were getting different jobs during the same time. I think everything kind of fell into that wave of not knowing. Okay, maybe that's a good word for it. We didn't know what was going to happen. When this all was going down 3 years ago, nobody knew what was going to happen. But you knew you had to put food on the table. You knew you had to keep a job. You knew you had to work. You may have quit your job to work another job if you were a bartender or a waitress. You know, you might have quit and went to go work for Amazon, you know, or some of these places that were some of the only places open for hire. I think that's been something that a lot of people have done, especially around here. Amazon's paying people a lot of money. Wendy's down the street is hiring for $14 an hour. And again, like if you're living with somebody, excuse me, you know, I could see you being able to get by on $14 an hour if you have a spouse or you're living with a friend or something in an apartment or a mortgage. But could you imagine $14 an hour right now? Trying to go to Kroger and eat for the week? I mean, it can be done. You're going to be really skinny. It might help me. But no, in reality, $14 an hour, that's been the major issue here, is that a lot of these places aren't paying a good amount of money. Or they are from what they were a couple years ago, but you just can't keep up with the housing prices, the rentals. It's through the roof. And even if you're paying somebody $15 an hour to work at Kroger, I mean, how are you able to get by? How? If you're by yourself. If you're with somebody and you're both making $15 an hour, which is still $30 an hour for two people, and if you got a family, it's not a lot of money. Not when you're paying the fortune that we are in the grocery stores right now. It's why we always talk about when we find these sales. It's why we do this every day. Try to find the best sales so that we can save as much as we can when we can. And it doesn't look like any of this stuff's going down anytime soon. It needs to. If we're going to help the economy, if we're going to help the everybody, all the workers out here, some of the hardest workers are the one pushing the carts inside Kroger so that you can go shopping. And they're probably not making anything. It's sad. It's sad. And I think that is the major problem here. It is the major problem. Because they can barely afford to eat. They probably can't even go out and have a good time. They have to work 6 days a week to make ends meet. And you know what's funny is we're the ones that are happy. The ones who are making $15 an hour don't have anything extra. I know that when I was barely getting by, not saying I'm not happy, But I didn't have a problem. I didn't have any problems. I had no problems getting by. Yeah, it was always tight, always cheap, but you know what? I made it. And nowadays I see a lot of younger people dealing with the same struggles. So I try not to be so hard on a generation that is growing up in a world where it's almost impossible. Let's cut some of our young workers slack. The other day, I was this guy. I knew he was a new guy at Kroger. He was kind of stumbling around, didn't really know where he was, and he had this thing as a ketchup. And I said, "Oh, that's aisle 2." And he said, "Oh, thanks, man." I was like, I know where everything is, so I was able to help him. He was really happy, and I said, "Thank you, buddy. Thank you for doing a great job." I think a lot of people need to hear this more and more. Maybe people. If you show some love and show some kindness to everyone around you, these are guys who are working really hard and they can barely afford to get by. I don't know what minimum wage is at Kroger right now, but it can't be much. I don't know how you can even afford to rent an apartment. Apartment prices are so high right now in Cincinnati, Ohio. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Let's not even talk about the housing market. It's crazy. But yeah, it's in full force here in Cincinnati, Ohio. We have employee shortages everywhere. I feel like most of it around here is burnout. I feel a lot of people are leaving their jobs to find something better. I don't feel like it's something where we don't have enough workers in the city here. I feel like people are tired of doing a job where they're not making anything. They're tired of eating ramen noodles every night. They're tired of having to wait till Kroger puts a 99-cent sale on their soup to be able to eat a decent meal. I don't know. I get a little worked up on these things sometimes, but I see all this stuff go down. We get tons of comments on these kind of things. And then it really opens your eyes on what's really going on. And we really need to just appreciate what we do have, appreciate what people are doing. And hopefully, the only thing I can hope for is that things will start going in the right direction at some point. Prices have to come down on food. Miraculously, gas has dropped like crazy. I heard that, the barrels were going for a lot cheaper. I think it was $82 a gallon, which is still expensive. But gas is $3.29 here now after being $3.69 last Monday. So I'll take it. And it's supposed to come down some more. So good for that. Somebody said in Florida it was $2.98 a gallon. That is awesome. I don't know what gas station it was, but let people know on here. That's a really good price. But anyway, didn't want to rant on too much about this. Just giving you guys an idea of what's going on here in Cincinnati, Ohio. It seems like everywhere is actually hiring now. So if you live in Cincinnati, you need a job, a quick job to get you by, or and I think issues like with Kroger, you're like in the union and stuff, but they do like pay raises. I know Meijer does pay raises like every year. So if that's something you're interested in, maybe look into that. See, I'm not sure what they're paying now, but there are positions that pay more at Kroger and Meijer, like deli and stuff like that pay a lot more. So might be worth it to you for some people. I don't want to say that this is all I'm saying is that a lot of jobs, and I just not even talking about grocery stores at all here, any job where you're not making at least $15 an hour with the prices of groceries, clothes, gas, everything else, I can't imagine anybody being able to get by. That's why I mentioned the young workers, because it's like, whew, even if you work at McDonald's, I mean, geez, you got to make $15 an hour. And if you don't, well, that's why they're always hiring, because eventually you're not going to be able to make that. You're not going to be able to live off that. People who've been working at McDonald's for 20 years or something are probably making $22, $23 an hour. Now, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know that I wouldn't be able to afford anything. That's the problem, is that we can't afford anything because grocery prices are so high. They need to come down so that it all balances out. People need to continue getting paid what they are now, but we need to work out the food crisis, because this is what's really causing everything to hurt. The housing market, the rentals, these unrealistic rental properties. I mean, it's crazy. Apartments are ridiculous. Apartments should not be that expensive here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they're like $1,200, $1,300 a month. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's just, I mean, I know for some people, maybe East or West Coast, that sounds really cheap. That's really expensive for us. It's a whole different ball game here in the Midwest. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this rant today. Let me post your comments down below. Let me know what you think of all this. Is your town going on a rampant now hiring spree? Because it seems like in Cincinnati, it is everywhere. I'm seeing bigger signs. I think we mentioned Dollar General, but Dollar General had a big one. Meijer looks like they're hiring anybody. I mean, it's like it's just huge. They have signs everywhere. Kroger has a now hiring sign. No kidding, as big as a truck. I mean, it's huge. It's good advertising. I mean, I hope they get some employees from that. I don't know. We just gotta keep moving forward. And I think eventually good things will happen. I haven't seen these kind of now hiring signs since before the pandemic. So, I don't know. Maybe they're getting the word out there, maybe more, and I continue to talk with people to see what things are going on. And we will keep you posted as we find those out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.